I'm going to present here is, I'm in writing mode at the moment because I just finished a lovely grant, or a lovely project, and now I'm in writing mode and trying to figure out what we want to do next. So this is more of a vision than it is an actual kind of product that you're going to have. But what I'm looking for, and some of my grants, doing research at a college is different from doing research at a university. So one of the things that I do is I'm striving more for collaboration. So I'm going to put a whole bunch of hooks out there, and if you feel one kind of attaching itself to you, give it a tug, see what happens. So without further ado, how does this thing work? Okay, we'll try this button. Nope, that doesn't work. You know what?
Does any of them work?
No, that one works because I used it already. We started off several years ago with a device called the 3D Vineyard Engine, which actually was a result of something called the traffic engine, which when I was looking at very slow-moving, like traffic-bound, there was cars sitting on a bridge not moving, I thought, hey, that looks a lot like plants. And ended up doing something with 3D visualization and topographic models. There's 60,000 vines in there, each one individually addressable, each one attached to a data source, and that was what we were doing like 5 years ago. As luck would have it, this week I'm probably getting back into that kind of thing and getting back into that game. In the interim, we created a different Vineyard engine. This one, some of you will probably recognize the controls that are present on Google Earth. It has some good capabilities. We're able to reproduce most of what we did in the Vineyard engine with newer technology that's obviously, if I can show this anywhere in the world, anyone can take a look at it. And sure, that'd be awesome. Next. Okay, so let's start with a definition of precision agriculture. This is from the US House of Representatives. So in very political terms, this is precision agriculture, integrated information and production-based farming system that is designed to increase long-term, site-specific and whole farm production efficiency, productivity, and profitability while minimizing unintended impacts on wildlife and the environment. You wonder why researchers hate politicians. What does that imply? So there's tons of implications in there that nobody has chased down. Almost nobody is looking at agriculture really as from a precision agriculture standpoint. So I'm going to do something, present an idea or a path that may survive until next week. It may be what we do for the next 10 years. So we'll examine some of the pieces that are necessary. So just a bit of background. One of the things I'm fascinated with, and having met Richard, I know Richard's fascinated with forests as well. So how do forests get planted? How do they grow the way that they do? And the one thing that fascinates most people is how that happens. It's like you get a tree growing out of a cliff. So the simplistic answer is birds are just spreading seeds everywhere. So any seed that you have, like apple seeds, go everywhere. So almost a homogeneous, wherever the birds go, the seeds go. Some of them take, some of them don't. So if they find what they need to grow, they'll grow right out of the side of a cliff. So the complex patterns, it's basically just plant Darwinism. I'm a remote sensing guy, so I'm going to say some things about biology and plant science and stuff like that I really don't have any expertise in. But again, I'm fishing, so if there are any plant biologists or specialists out there, come chat. Because I need to partner on some of these issues. So constant competition for resources. Most plants can grow anywhere, but in a natural environment, nature chooses against the plants that experience too many stresses. Excellent. So you get something like this, where you have kind of homogeneous, I don't even know what type of trees these are, right? So these trees, those trees, you have a boundary in between, there's something different going on, there's some reason for selection. What's interesting is the sharp boundaries. So there are, some trees different types of trees will grow in different areas for whatever reasons. There's some environmental consideration, there's some microclimatic consideration. Something else used to live there that the plant that's growing now likes. It could be anything. So aerial and satellite imagery generally will show these boundaries, and one of the ways for delineating those areas is basically a differencing operation. So when you're applying like robot vision, a lot of the operations that you'll apply is called differencing, where you're just taking differences at different scales inside the image. So basically what I'm just going to refer to all this stuff as differential growth. So in a vision paper, I can make up my own words and my own science. Next. So basically this is differential growth. So you're getting difference in growing and different things. So what I'm trying to point out is that there's differences in the environment which lead in a natural environment to different trees dominating. Next. In the unnatural environment of a farm field, plantings are homogeneous across large areas, and natural stresses tend to be easier to see. Plant health, crop yield can vary widely across a field, and one of the things that we need to come to grips with, or some people think of precision farming as dealing with, is that difference in growth rate or difference in yield that you get at the end of a year from, say one part of a field to another. So genomics and environment create success for the plants, which are basically, it causes an expression of phenotypes, which gives you a huge variety, potentially, depending on what the environment of the field is like and depending how the plant reacts. So different phenotype reactions to the farm field result in a variety of biochemistries. And this is kind of where I want to go in the long run, is the differences in biochemistries that you can get from the variety you have in the environment. Next. So environmental factors initially led to the formation of species in the first place, right? So that's where all your genomes came from, is all this differentiation. So the environment turns on certain genetic switches. For example, there's just because we're doing a wine tasting tonight, and I attended a Champagne Ardennes research meeting up at Covey a while ago, and all of the French and the Europeans are apparently all about resveratrol at the moment, which is an antifungal agent that's produced by grapes when they come into contact with fungus. So, but it has some cancer-fighting ability. So 1997, there was a study on topical treatments using resveratrol, which reduced melanomas, which means, fights cancer. That would be awesome. And that is producing a reaction to fungal and bacterial attacks on vines. Fungal attacks are enabled by high humidity. Slide later, I'll show you. You're probably sitting last year anyway in the place with the highest humidities I have ever seen. Like it was 100% humidity every night for 90 days last year. Next. So the soil environment, weather environment, which is basically your climate and your environment, can be taken advantage of. This is French countryside. I mean, if the town had the audacity to grow where the Burgundy was good, they just moved it. The roads don't interfere with the good wine, and the fields are planted according to where the best wines grow. For 2,000 years, they've rearranged their countryside to maximize this product that they love. I mean, there's, wine and the French go back so far that I don't think, they can't even be separated anymore. Next. So the bottom line, microenvironment causes the expression of phenotypes. And some of these expressions result in biochemistry that can potentially cure cancer, like resveratrol, and there's some others that I've talked to under NDA that happen in other plants. So this isn't only about vines, it's about kind of plant biology or agriculture in general. And so the genetics, once people are finished sequencing all the genomes, will tell us what a plant can do. The trick will be actually making them do it, and then figuring out what combinations there are. And the economics is simple. I mean, if you want to, some places in the world you get a bottle of wine that's worth $1,000. How much is a liter of anti-cancer agent worth? So simple economics. Next. So these are the things, just as I was kind of trying to figure out what it is we have to measure and keep track of in order to figure out which phenotypes will be expressed in the field. This is kind of a preliminary, kick at the cat. It took me, I don't know, about an hour, just sitting there thinking about different things that we would have to measure. I'm sure some of you are looking at the list and going, hey, you forgot. But next. These are some of the technologies that we'll use to track those various things. And mostly what I'm about is figuring out how to attach a wire to each one of these things and drop it into a database.